Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. I'm Tall Mike. So glad you're here. What do we got going on in the markets? Oh my goodness, the markets are closed. I get so sad when the markets are closed. I like the markets to be open. I'm not a big fan of the holidays, to be honest, but it is Easter weekend, one of my favorite holidays. Want to wish everybody a happy Easter. But what's going on with the markets? Well, the markets are trying to decide what direction they want to go. Now, I do think you're going to get one more chance to get out of this. I think they're going to print money. I think they're going to push it up one more time to a record high. Now, we will come down probably and retest the recent low first. Now, hopefully we make a lower low and then we're off to the races again. That's the way I see this market playing out. A lower low, off to the races, going to push it up to a new record high, give you one more chance to get out, to bring all the people in, right? They're going to sucker the people in. Once you see this market starting to take off, everybody's going to jump back in. Then the big rug pull's coming, and then it's the big one coming. 2-year, 3-year bear market probably take us down somewhere between 50% on the S&P and probably closer to 70 or 80% on the NASDAQ. That's just my take. We'll see how that all plays out. Your take may be completely different. All right, I want to talk today a little bit about the domino effect. Now, the domino effect is, well, in houses we have the domino effect, right? When one sells, the next one sells, the next one sells, the next one sells, and they're going to start to fall over and the prices are going to start to come down. That's a domino effect in the housing market. That's not the domino effect I'm talking about. The domino effect I'm talking about lets us know if we're already in a recession and if we're going into the Great Depression. That's the domino effect I'm talking about, is how many stores Domino's has closed. Domino's Pizza closing 200 locations. 200 locations. Domino's Pizza is the simplest business. But you know what? They got competition from that DoorDash. See, Domino's Pizza, they used to deliver the pizzas, right? Well, they still deliver them right to your door. And they used to say 30 minutes or less or your pizza's free. They had to take that slogan off, right? Because people would get in accidents trying to get the pizza there on time, and Domino's got sued and their insurance wouldn't cover them. So you will not hear that slogan anymore. People my age remember Domino's Pizza started as a small pizza place, was failing. They decided to do delivery and grew to the largest pizza chain in the world. But right now they're having trouble making it because they're closing 200 locations, having trouble competing with DoorDash. See, DoorDash will actually, well, they'll finance your food. You order some Wendy's from DoorDash, you can get 4 easy payments on that cheeseburger, right? I mean, that's maximum debt. And I want to talk about if we're in a recession now, if we're going into a depression. Now, here's the thing. You got the upper class, right? The top 20%, let's say, and you got the lower class, the bottom 20%, but you got what's called the middle class, the middle 60%, right? Well, here's the thing. The top 1% has more wealth than the middle 60%. You see, the middle class has kind of been gutted out, right? It's kind of just gone away. And that's a sign that for a lot of people, we're already in that recession because they're starting to feel the pain. And there's actually becoming a lot of job layoffs. When you close 200 Domino locations, no pizza drivers, they got to work, right? They go in the unemployment line. But it's worse than that. You get to a high-tech place where I live, Silicon Valley, and the jobs are just disappearing, right? And these are high-paying jobs. Some of them pay $500,000 a year. I mean, and they're going away. And when you're making $500,000 a year and you go to zero and you go to the unemployment office, they don't give you $500,000 a year. So your leash time is very short before you have to get out there and find another job, especially if your lifestyle is at that level where a lot of the people are. I mean, just to own a house in Silicon Valley, you got to bring in about $500,000 a year, usually 2 people working, $250,000 each. But that's what you need to purchase a home where I live. I mean, it's crazy. I got a new listing coming up, a little $3 million home if anyone wants to buy it, 1,600 square feet on a 6,000 square foot lot, $3 million. But hey, here's the good news. You can walk to Apple Computer, their main campus. If you work at Apple Computer, this house is a steal at only $3 million. I mean, it's kind of ludicrous going on out there still in the housing market. We'll see how this all plays out. But that hopefully I'll be getting that listing and putting that one on the market. What I want to talk today a little bit about is, well, this whole thing that's causing the turmoil in all the markets, causing the turmoil in the stock market, the bond market for sure. A lot of turmoil there, but it's the tariffs, right? It's the trade war, but it's really just a trade war with China, right? We put everybody else on pause and we're going to go after China and we're going to have a trade war with them, right? And now here's how it works. A lot of people don't really understand why we want to have this trade war with China. Let me explain sort of how this kind of works, right? Okay, so China, they make all the stuff, right? They make all the stuff that us Americans buy. We don't make stuff here anymore, and that's the whole problem, right? So they make all this stuff, and they ship this stuff over here for the only thing we do make, which is dollar bills, right? We still make those. We make those in quantity, right? Dollar bills. So we take our dollar bills, and we put them on the empty boats, and we ship those dollar bills back to China, right? So China makes the stuff. They send the stuff to us because we like to buy the stuff. We give them our dollars, goes back to China. But you see, it doesn't end there. What does China do with the dollars? See, they don't just want worthless pieces of toilet paper with some numbers printed on it. They want real stuff also. So what's happening? Well, they're going into the stock market. They're buying up our companies, right? They're going into the real estate market. I have several Asian clients that come over from China and they buy up houses, usually pay all cash. Why? Why? Because they made the stuff. They got the dollars. They have the cash. Now they're competing against the Americans that are flat broke, that have no money, that are trying to get a 95% loan on that house where they come in and they just pay cash, right? But anyways, 20% approximately of our country has been sold already. We've sold off 20% of that. See, we used to own all of our country, but now we only own 80% of it because we sold 20% of it off to foreigners in the form of they're buying our stock market, they're buying our real estate, right? And now if you go back, you go to China and you try to bring, money over there and buy a house. See how that goes for you. Doesn't happen, right? They don't sell off their country. But we have to sell off our country because we want them to make the stuff for us and we give them our dollars. They take our dollars and they buy our country. Now this continues on. Our country will be completely sold to foreigners and that's the direction we're heading. So the Donald, he's actually doing something to try to stop that, right? Trying to stop that trade war with them, right? Well, we've got a trade war with them, trying to stop them from buying our country. We don't want to lose our country to the foreigners, right? We'd like to keep some of it for ourselves at least. Now, here's the thing. Now, the Donald, he wants to bring all manufacturing back home. Now, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? I'm not sure it's a great thing. Now, I understand certain things should not be outsourced. Certain things like the, military weapons, we should be able to make those. Just in case we have to go to a hot war with another country, we should be able to make those and not have to depend on other countries for it, right? Now, pharmaceuticals, right? I mean, people need to get their drugs. Should we outsource that to China? That's what we do right now. Our pharmaceuticals come from China. I don't know if you realize that or not. We don't make them here anymore. Why? Well, because we offshore it, and then we can have bigger profits in the corporations that we're selling off to the foreign countries. So the foreign countries appreciate what we're doing with the bigger profits, and they'll pay more for those. But a lot of things have been offshored that we probably should be bringing back onshore. But here's the problem. Number one, we don't have the factories to make these things. It's going to take time to get those factories set up. But the big problem I see, here's the big problem. People in the United States, they don't want to work in the factory. You go to high school and all the seniors that are graduating, they're getting out. You take a poll and you go and ask them, and on the poll you ask them, how many of you want to work in a factory making underwear? 0 people will say yes. You ask them this question, how many of you want to be an influencer on YouTube? 98% will say, yes, I want to be an influencer on YouTube. I don't want to work in a factory. I don't want to make stuff. We don't want to make stuff here. So maybe we have to not just bring the factories back, but maybe we have to bring the workers with the factories back. Because I don't think I know our young people don't want to work in a factory making underwear, so maybe we shouldn't bring all the manufacturing. Maybe clothes should be made overseas. They work for $2 an hour, and people I know they want at least 20 an hour. What's the minimum wage now? I don't even know, but let's say just say they want 20 an hour. Well, the cost goes up tenfold, right? So maybe we should let them make our clothes for us and just ship them over in the boats, and we keep sending them our toilet paper with numbers printed on it, and see how long that works. But some of the stuff we have to bring back, but I don't think we want to bring it all back. I don't think we want to bring manufacturing back. I mean, that just sets us back into the 1950s. We're going backwards. Yes, we got to bring some of it back. I agree with that, but all of it? No, I don't think that's the correct answer. That's just my take, though. Now, look at. We're going into a recession. Jobs are going to be hard to find. So this is probably a good time to bring some of those factories back, because people will be willing to work in the factories making your clothes for you if they can't find any other job. I think we're already in a recession. You can tell this because people can't make their payments on their cars anymore. People can't make their mortgage payments on their house, and just forget about student loans. Student loans, like record high student loans, $1.8 trillion, right? That's a new record, a record of all time. Okay, well, you got 50 million people that have a student loan in the United States. Now, guess what? About 20% of those people are not paying. That's roughly 10 million people. Well, guess what's happening now? If you're not paying now, they're reporting it to the credit union. So your credit is in free fall to the downside. So we got 10 million people that just got excluded from buying a house. Nobody can buy houses right now. I hope somebody comes and buys that $3 million house that I'm going to be listing. I'd like to get paid. Us real estate brokers, we don't really enjoy the selling house. I mean, it's fun. It has its moments, but it's actually real work, and it's a lot of stress, to be perfectly honest. And anyways, but we like to get paid. That's what we like to do. So we're going to need those 10 million people to come back into the housing market, but their credit's destroyed now. Why is their credit destroyed? Because they can't afford their student loan payment, so they stop paying, thinking that the government will pay. Maybe Biden will run again next term. He likes to pay for student loans. Oh, he probably be dead by then, though. I don't know. Maybe Bernie Sanders can jump in and fill the spot, right? Maybe. Everybody wants things free. Everybody wants to be a YouTube influencer. I don't know any young person that wants to work in a factory. I really don't. Even the old people, I don't know. It might be kind of fun working in a factory for a little while. I mean, if you $20 an hour, I can't survive on that, though. Look, I know homeless people that work at Tesla. Homeless people working at Tesla. Why? Because they don't pay enough for them to live indoors. They have a choice to make. They have to decide between eating food and living inside. They can't do both, right? Because it doesn't pay enough in this area that I live in. This area is very dysfunctional, right? A factory worker in this area, they don't survive very well. They're actually homeless, and it's kind of sad, you know? When I was young, if you worked, you had a job, you'd have enough to eat, you'd have a place to live, you know? That's just how it worked. Nowadays, it doesn't work that way anymore. It doesn't work that way because we financialized everything, right? Everything has gotten so expensive. The wealthy people, the top 1%, they have more wealth than the middle 60%, than the middle class. 1% of the population has more wealth than 60% of the middle class. That's the middle class. Isn't that weird? It shouldn't be that way, right? The wealth disparity has never been as great, even greater than the Great Depression, and that's why I think we're going to hit another depression, you know, and when we hit that depression, that wealth gap might close up a little bit. Not because the bottom half is coming up, it'll be because the top half is falling down. You drop the stock market 80%, they're going to lose some money. You drop the housing market 50%, they're going to lose some wealth, right? I mean, that's just the way it plays out. So the wealth gap will probably close when we do go into another depression. I'm afraid that's the direction we're headed. Look, I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot me. That's just my take. Maybe your take is different. Maybe in your area there's no recession. Maybe in your area we'll never be in a depression. That's great. You live in a great area, and 2 thumbs up to you. Give me the thumbs up if you like this talk. Anyways, punch that subscribe button. Everybody have a great Easter, and we'll talk again next week. Bye-bye now.